Hey guys, Peter Riley here, and welcome to my tank review of the Tier 10 German medium tank, the Leopard 1. Now personally, this has got to be my favorite Tier 10 in the game. Well, actually it's my only Tier 10 that I have, but anyway, it's still a really good tank. The gun on it is fantastic, the maneuverability on it is phenomenal, I think only beat by the Batchat. And that's only in acceleration, really. I think this thing's actually got a beat in track traverse. But without further ado, let's get into the in-game stats. Now, as we can see here, the hit points are 1,950, which is actually pretty decent for a Tier 10 medium tank. I know that's considerably more than the Batchat, and I think it's 100 points, 50 points more than the Object 140, which is pretty good. The weight, 40 tons. With an engine power of 830 gives this thing a horsepower per ton ratio of 20.6. So this thing hauls. This is one fast tank. Again, I think the acceleration is only beat by the Batchat 25 ton. Top speed of 65. Again, that is on par with the Batchat. Traverse speed of 54. Now that is nice. I think that is only beat by the Russian tanks? Actually, I do not know. Let me check that out for you right now. Let's see, we'll go to Russian, Object 140, track traverse of 54. So, okay, so it's on par with the Object 140. Oh dear, the armor. The armor on this tank, well, it's a mixed bag. It's thin, don't get me wrong. It's 70 millimeters on the front of the hull, 35s on the sides, and 25 on the rear. The 25 millimeters of armor on the rear will not protect you. If somebody wants to fire high explosive into your butt, they will. Same with the sides. However, I will say the hull, and as well as the turret, well, actually the front of the turret is 52 and the sides are 60, does bounce a lot. The 35 millimeters of armor can get overmatched by 122 millimeter shells, 150 large caliber shells, but it actually still is enough to bounce 105 millimeter shells, and especially 100 millimeters from Russian shells. So you can still auto bounce shells off the side. As with the front here, you're probably not going to bounce any shells unless they hit you at an extreme angle like this. However, the turret I find to be really bouncy. Right here, this side of the turret is an auto bounce zone. Here is an auto bounce zone, and the top, surprisingly, can be an auto bounce zone as well. If it hits right here, I feel like a lot of shells that hit there bounce off. The mantlet, however, garbage. This, if it hits the mantlet or anywhere in the front of the turret here, it's going to go through. Especially because I believe there is an area or hitbox behind this mantlet, which is 100 millimeters. We'll check that out in Tank Inspector later. Moving on to the gun, this gun is amazing. 6.9 rate of fire, it's okay. I believe it's better than the Patton, though it's not as good as the STB-1. Penetration is great for its tier, 268, 390 alpha, just like all the other NATO tier 10 mediums. The accuracy, 0.3. If you have a crew with brothers in arms, maybe even ventilation, you will almost never miss with this gun when it is fully aimed in. This thing is a laser, and if you couple that with the 1.9 aiming time, this thing can actually get surprisingly good at snapshotting, which you'll actually see in one of the replays later. This gun just is fantastic on this tank. It's more or less a mobile sniper. And let's see here. Gun reload 7.34, but that's with brothers in arms and all these skills and everything. Gun rammer. Turret traverse is a little on the slow side. It's only 36 degrees per second. If somebody tracks you, it is possible for other mediums to circle you. 410 meters of view range. That's very good. I believe that's above most of the Russian medium tanks and on par with the STB-1. This is a very good tank to have coated optics and camouflage on. The camouflage is actually pretty darn good on this tank. I don't think it's as good as tanks like the Batchat and the T-62A, but it's definitely up there. It's very close. And signal range, 750, yeah, tier 10, nobody really cares about the radios at that point. You're going to be able to contact your allies all the way across the map for the most part. Moving on, I should also say that the premium round for this tank is heat, which is kinda good, kinda bad. The heat does have an average penetration of, I think, 330. However, it is a heat round. They don't get normalization, and they are weak against spaced armor and tracks. So those can only be used in very specific circumstances, such as in IS-7 hull, if you do get them at a slight angle, kind of like this. High explosive, the pen's garbage on that. I only really fire that against artillery and such. I would say, however, before we move over to Tank Inspector, that I do recommend you guys taking a large repair kit and perhaps even a, where is it? I don't know, I don't see it on here, but a large first aid kit instead of a fire extinguisher, because this tank, if I move over to the engine here, has a very, very low chance of fire, only 10%. And unlike the other German tanks in the line, you won't get your engine caught on fire if you get hit in the front of the tank. The engine and transmission, it's all in the back. So you will rarely catch fire in this tank. So I tend to replace my fire extinguisher with a large repair kit, which reduces module damage by 10% or something along those lines. Okay, plus 10% to speed of module repairs. Okay, so you get a nice little permanent benefit there. I tend to not even use it. I just use a small repair kit. But it is nice to have in an emergency, because the entire front of this tank, although it doesn't have the transmission, is all ammunition. If you get shot in the front of this tank, it's very likely that your ammo rack will get damaged. So that's why I also suggest, well, I don't have them on right now, but I would very much suggest that you guys get on your loader, where is it here, safe stowage, so that you do not get ammo racked. This tank will get ammo racked a lot. Speaking of crew, I should probably go over some of the crew skills for you. 6th Sense on your commander, always. That should be given in any tank. And second skill, camouflage. This tank already has a very high view range, a very high base camo. It is very important that you take camouflage on these tanks. You want to stay hidden when you're firing. You have an accurate gun. You can reach out at long distances. You want to take advantage of that. Also, snapshot. You have a slow, sorry, not a slow. You have a low aim time, so you want to capitalize on that. Clutch braking. This is just a little quirk of mine. I really like tanks that are able to turn a lot. I know this tank already has 54 degrees of gun, not gun depression. Oh, jeez. But traverse speed. But I like to just beef that up a little more. And I have repairs on the loader just because, you know, it's a medium tank. It's nice to have as a skill while I'm training up for safe stowage. And also, Brothers in Arms. Brothers in Arms you should definitely get once you get 3 skills. I'm not quite sure why I already have Brothers in Arms on this tank, even though I haven't finished my 3rd skill. I think this was originally a 3-skill tank, or crew, and then I just moved them around from tanks like the Spähpanzer, my Indian Panzer, my VK, and eventually the crew lost experience. So without further ado, we'll check out the armor in Tank Inspector. So here we are in Tank Inspector, guys, and as you can see, if I bring up the armor model here, that the Leopard 1 has no protection to speak of. The front plate here is only 70 millimeters of armor, and assuming that you have another medium tank with 105 shooting at you, you're not going to bounce any shots until maybe around that angle. So essentially, if you're giving that much of an angle to your front plate, they're just going to shoot you on the side or the front of the drive wheel if you're sticking out of a corner. You're not really going to get any bounces out of this, except for the occasional lucky shot. Perhaps the armor would be a little bit effective if you're shooting down at a target using your gun depression and you're pulling back. Sometimes they can get a lucky bounce off your armor that way. The side of the armor is garbage, only 35 millimeters of armor. Some tanks will be able to penetrate you with high explosive actually. However, contrary to what Tank Inspector says, as I've tested this in game, you can bounce 105 millimeter shots and 100 millimeter rounds off the side armor here, although it will double overmatch, meaning that it will get increased to normalization, but it won't automatically penetrate. Also, although the tracks are quite big, they only count for 20 millimeters of armor. Don't expect them to save you at all. The turret is another story though. The sides here can sometimes be auto bounce zones. You can see here this is a nice ricochet zone as well as over here. The mantlet though is garbage. Only 65 millimeters of armor, and as you can see here there's quite a big hit zone behind it that is 0 millimeters of armor. If anybody hits you in anywhere in this portion of the tank, it's going to go through like butter, no questions asked. The top of the turret, although it's thin, 49 millimeters of armor, I actually feel like that part of the tank gets quite a few bounces, especially if you're in a hull down spot. They clip the top of the mantlet here, 38, they hit the top, that ricochets. I get quite a few ricochets off of that. Also, some people like shooting at the cupola where there actually is no hitbox for the cupola, so that's nice, I guess. The back of the tank, 25 millimeters of armor. Again, somebody will probably penetrate you with high explosive if they shoot there. And now, for one of the big drawbacks of this tank, the top. Oh man. Look at that big juicy target for artillery. That is only 15 millimeters of armor. Top of the turret's also 20, but still 15 millimeters of armor. If an artillery piece wants to shoot at this and they hit it, you're going to die. Simple as that. You're screwed. That will penetrate and that will do full damage 99% of the time. So as we take another look at the stats here again, we can see that the Leopard 1 has a not so good DPM. It is fairly less than the Object 140 here, as I have up for comparison. The Object 140 has over 3,000, while the Leopard only has 2,800. Damage is good, penetration is good. Module damage surprisingly better than the Object 140, probably because it's a 105 over a 100mm gun. Reload slower. Shell velocity is surprisingly slower. I was actually really surprised by that. Scout ability, although the camouflage values are slightly less than the Object 140, this is still very competitive. 14.3, and if you couple that with the 410 meters of view range, this tank is a very good candidate for scouting, especially with that nice gun that can really reach out and touch somebody with an accuracy of 0.3, which if you have a fully upgraded crew is 0.28. This gun is a laser. You will not miss with this gun if you are fully aimed. Couple that with the great aim time, 1.82. It's fantastic. There's not a lot of bloom after every shot. Not a lot after the turret traverse full turning. Although it's not as there's slightly more bloom while on the move and while the vehicle itself or the hull is traversing. Slightly more than the Object 140, but I feel like at tier 10 it really doesn't matter. You'd be able to snapshot effectively with both of these tanks. Now here's one of the real big upsides of this tank, the gun depression, 9mm. Or 9 degrees of gun depression, I'm sorry. You can see here that the tank almost has full range of motion with the depression, but the back of the tank is raised, as you can see here. It is not able to get the gun down over that. If you have to shoot over the back of the tank, the gun has to be raised, which can cause some problems sometimes, but if you've played through the Leopard PTA, you should be used to that by now. Track resistance is actually very good. Again, not as good as the Russian hover tracks, but beats the snot out of a lot of other mediums and heavy tanks. Again, specific power, very good, 20.75. Health is good, everything. What surprised me here was the ammo rack actually has a lot of module health, 260, which is considerably more than the Object 140. So, although the ammo rack is quite big on this tank, and for some reason located in the front of the hull, although the ammo rack will get hit a lot, if it does get hit and get damaged due to the saving roll, there's a good chance that it will still be in working condition after it gets damaged. There's 260 points of health there. As you can see, the Leopard only does 150 module damage. So, say a Leopard shoots at you, hits your ammo rack, and damages it, it's still going to be in good condition. It might be yellow, but you're still going to be alive. And if you have a wet ammo rack or a safe stowage perk, if that Leopard hits you, your ammo rack's still going to be in clear condition. It's still going to be working as if you never took a shot, which is always nice. So without further ado, let's move on to a replay. Okay guys, so here we are on the Kharkov map. We do have a 52% chance to win this game, but that's really because we have one or two players that are really good on our team. Our artillery player is really good, the Object 907 player is really good. We actually have a Unica player in the Batchat 25 ton, and also our other Batchat is also pretty good. Other than that, our team is not that good, and we noticed that in chat here. I'm asking if anybody wants to come and support the city square with me. So right away you can see the acceleration of the Leopard. We're already up to 60 kilometers an hour off this bumpy ground, and we're speeding ahead of our team. I've got a lot of mediums with me, so I feel pretty comfortable with moving into these little divots in front of me. I didn't spot any mediums trying to get to the far side, and here we have our first enemy, an FV215B. Now, this tank can be pretty dangerous. He's in a good hull down location, and he does have a very high DPM. Our Batchats get a shot. I see that he's fired. I want to see if I can get a shot. And from this position, I really can't do anything here. I can only see the side of his turret, and unfortunately it bounces. Now you can see that FV has gotten quite a bit of backup. He's got an E100 with him and an AMX, what is that, 5120. At this point, I really didn't know how I was going to fight these guys. I was hoping that these Batchats would be able to distract him, and I would be able to poke up and take shots every once in a while. I can use this divot here to stay safe, get hull down, make it so it's going to be difficult for them to return fire. And I really just wanted to take shots of opportunity. I shoot through the sandbags at where I thought the lower plate of the FE was going to be, but it ended up being a little high. Try and shoot at the E100 there. I shoot through his cracks, tracking him, do a little damage, but unfortunately I took a shot from the FV as well. I really want to focus my efforts down on that E100. I know he's low health, and I want to take these guns out of the battle as fast as possible. I try and go for the turret rank here. It goes a little high, hits him in the mantlet. No damage done. Try and poke out for another shot while he's not looking. Actually, here I loaded a heat round, as you can see, and oh, there I just bounced a shell off what I think was the AMX 5120. Okay, that shot right there, I have no clue how that didn't penetrate. I think it might have clipped his mantlet, though the second heat round flies true and takes out the E100. And I bounced another shot, this time I think from the Waffenträger Alpspanzervier. So we've secured our first battle of the game so far. Our team is down 5 tanks, the enemy is only down 3, so this is definitely not looking good. I want to take out this FV so I can hopefully push up this flank. I try and go for his cupola, and unfortunately I only damage his observation device. Now, I got really panicked here. I thought that Batchat was going to rush me, but luckily he just drives right by me and tries to go for our friendly Batchat, which I wouldn't mind that. Here you can see the tank's great gun depression. I'm able to poke over that ridge and shoot that Batchat in the back of the turret without exposing myself to the FV or any of the TDs or other tanks that are down these roads. Here you can see that the FV has been backed up by a T110E3, and that was a no damage shot from a T110E3. He only hit my cupola. Actually, let's see here. Where did that tank hit us? Or when... Okay, right there. You can see it just clipped the top of the tank and only hit the periscope on the top of the tank there. No damage done. This tank, with its 9 degrees of gun depression and fairly low profile turret, is very good at abusing spots like this. It can poke up, just get its gun over the ridge, fire, and get back to cover before the enemy can make an accurate shot. You can see there I tried to take a snapshot and unfortunately hit the ground in front of me. I auto-aim on the FE and dunk another shot into the ground. Wow, what am I doing here? Okay, so as you can see, our team is still losing pretty badly. I finally snapshotted a round into that FE215B. Unfortunately, our team is still losing 5-8, so I need to clear these guys out as fast as possible. And, oh my god, again, I bounced another shot off the top of my turret from the FE215B. And this T110E3, I have no clue what this guy was doing. I think he figured that Jagdpanzer E100, the Waffenträger Abspanzervieh, and the FV would have taken me out by now, and he just drives right on by. He gets in that little hole next to me. So I realize my opening here. I go for the FV. I want to take out this FV as fast as I can so I can flank this T110E3. He's in an extremely vulnerable position right now. Snapshot the FV, and now I can do some work on this T110E3. He realizes the position he's in now, and he's trying to angle his armor to both the Batchat and myself. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out too well for him. I poke a hole through the sandbags there and track him. You can see the Batchat here trying to go for the T110E3, but unfortunately gets taken out by the Foch 155. And now it's just simply a matter of how quickly I can take this guy out. And there we go. We secure the kill on the T110E3. Now that's 3 kills into the battle now, and we're still losing. We have 4 tanks, and the enemy has 6. I still can't move out of the city square now. I still have that Waffenträger Abspanzervieh watching me. I bait a shot from him, and here we go. We can see the accuracy of the Leopard. I can barely see his tank through the hole there, and I'm able to connect the shot. He underestimates the reload time of the Leopard, and we secure the kill on that Tier 9 German tank destroyer. You could see there in the chat I'm getting a little giddy. I was really having fun with this match. I see the IS-8 there, or I'm trying to find the IS-8. Looks like I don't quite have a shot from there. I really want to help that Batchat out. He's a very good player, and I don't want to have him get killed. I want to keep him in this fight for as long as I can. I try and take a speculative shot at that Leopard 1, but it doesn't connect. You can see there that the Waffenträger is raging in chat, saying that my Leo has premium armor because of all the shots that I've bounced, and oh my god, now crap has hit the fan. I've gotten splashed from artillery, and I took a hit from the Leopard 1, and now I have a damaged gun. The Batchat is able to secure the kill on the IS-8 there. Now, here's where I'm really worried. I'm on 458 health. I'm a one-shot kill for that Leopard. Perhaps, well, if he high rolls. I'm a one-hit kill if he high rolls. Chances are he's going to have to take 2 shots to kill me, but I'm still worried. He's on 1,332 health. I take a snapshot with the damaged gun, penetrate and hit. The Batchat's reloading. I want to cover him. Now, I honestly thought I was going to die here. I get another shot into me. He dunks the shot into the ground in front of him. All he's got to do is ram me here. Like, I got to be dead. Oh my god. How did that Leopard possibly manage to screw that up? He had over 1,000 hit points and only had to hit me once, if he was lucky, or ram me. And unfortunately, our little reign of terror is cut short by the Foch 155. I was actually really surprised that Foch was able to hit me. As you could see, there really wasn't much for him to shoot at. Just the very tip of my turret, but with his 155mm shell, I believe, I think he might have been able to overmatch the top of my turret. Luckily, the last Bat Chat player here, kudos to Lucky CFC, being able to secure the game against the Lorraine and the Foch that for some reason decided to cap. So here we are looking at the post-game stats. We can see that this very clearly was a Ace Tanker badge in the Leopard 1, claiming 1,301 experience, which is, as you can see here, without premium and undoubled. We fired 31 shots, of which 25 connected and 19 penetrated, giving us a total damage of 6,380. And, surprisingly enough, of the 9 hits we received, only 5 penetrated. We blocked over 1,000 points of damage with our armor. And that's not including the 2 that hit our cupola, or observation device, but still did no damage. And we also received 1 hit due to splash damage. That was with the Geschutzwagen E100. We damaged 7 vehicles, destroyed 5, and did a spotting damage of 1.8k. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Bat Chat on our team, Lucky CFC, for a fantastic game, doing 5.5k damage, also picking up a Top Gun and a Defender medal. Well, thanks for coming, guys. This has been my review of the Leopard 1 German medium tank in World of Tanks. And I will see you guys in the next video.